Well, tonight we're learning a tornado rated as an EF3 caused all this damage in Randolph County.
This video that you're seeing from Drone Cam 13 shows what the dangerous storm with winds of up to 165 miles per hour left behind in Winchester. Tonight at 5, we're getting a clearer picture of the impact it made across the area.
In Randolph County, the tornado injured 38 people, putting 12 people in the hospital. 3 of them are in critical condition. Indiana Task Force 1 is now responding to the area as they check for survivors in the rubble. At
last check, the storm's strong winds destroyed 22 homes in Randolph County and damaged 110 more.
But it's not just there. The storm hit Selma hard too. The Delaware County Sheriff tells us the winds damaged nearly half the structures in the small town. We actually have live team coverage for you tonight with Lauren Kostick in Selma.
And we'll also be checking in with Rich Nye and meteorologist Matt Standrige. They're both in Winchester for us tonight.
Yeah, so we know we're working through some cell phone issues. Obviously, that was impacted by the storms, but let's get to Matt. Matt, can you tell us about the storm's path?
Hey, so we're right here on the path, the southern pass. It went from due west to due east with that EF3 tornado. And like Scott was just talking about, winds up to 165 miles per hour. We're still waiting on more details about path width and path length and where it all hit, according from right over Randolph County. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of behind the scenes meteorology on why we got this EF3 rating. We've had several folks come around and asking, hey, what's the latest rating? EF3. So what the National Weather Service says is they do a storm survey and they look at different types of buildings because different buildings are built differently. For example, behind us, we've got the Winchester Church of Christ that was demolished in this EF3 tornado. You see, it's a brick building, so that means it's already more sturdy than some other buildings. So for example, when the National Weather Service came out here, this is a good piece or property to look at because it's not easily blown down. So with this brick building, first off, they will start with any belongings. You see any belongings? Yep, they're around, so they would do a check mark. Are there shingles off the building? Yes, of course, the roof's not even there, so check. Is there any broken glass? Check. Are the doors down? Check. And this is the same list that the National Weather Service has. And then they ask, are there any shifting off the foundation? Any shifting signs? Yes. And then are the parts of the roof gone? Yes. Final question. All the roof gone and all the walls gone? Well, the roof is, but not all the walls. And so that's where you get the distinguishment between EF3 to EF4. So this shows EF3 damage, and then way off in the field and towards the west, there are more homes that have been damaged, and the crop fields here are completely littered with some damage that could stretch from miles away as that tornado carried it here from west to east. So let's go ahead and take you deeper into Winchester. We were with some of the National Guard earlier today, and they were out in full force. In fact, the Armory is right here in Winchester. In fact, the tornado hit just 2 blocks away from the Armory. So National Guard troops were out, they were helping folks, and one of the biggest things that they were focused on was getting rid of trees because they're so heavy, and that wind was able to completely uproot some of these massive sycamore trees, and they were just on people's homes. And so once we can get the trees off and chopped down, then the rest of the cleanup process can continue. We did talk with one homeowner, Mariah. She gave us her story.
I ran to my niece's house on South Main Street. We had 4 kids, or we had 9 of us, 4 were kids. We got under the crawl space, and then we heard, like, it got so quiet, and then we heard like this ferocious sound, like so loud over our heads. The whole shed picked up and blown away. Most of it's there, some of it's down there in a tree.
We'll have more shots from Drone Cam 13 across the path here just in a little bit, coming up at 6. Live in Winchester, 13 News, meteorologist Matt Standrige.
Yeah, Matt, thank you so much for breaking that down and explaining to our viewers exactly what these crews are looking for when they get out on the scene. We'll get back to you later.